Good morning, glidebait fanatics. So, this video is with the express purpose of trying to garner some members for a new group that I made on Facebook called AZ Glidebaiters. Now, I know AZ Swim Baiters is out there. It's a great group. I'm part of it. I love the group, but I am really very partial and very much a fanatic of the glidebait segment, and it's because of the way that they move. It's a very visceral experience getting hit on a glidebait as opposed to a soft swim bait. I think it's much more visceral. That's my opinion. That's my experience anyway. And I love the action that they have that you can put on them. I mean, they're a nasty looking, really natural looking bait in the water. It's almost like when you're going through the water column and you're retrieving it, and you know you have your couple of times that you reel nice and slow, and you get that curve of whatever that bait tends to have, and then you get that little twist of the reel handle and it swims to the side. It's almost like it's begging the fish to come and get me, you know. I don't know, it's not really a whole lot that I can explain as to exactly what it is. It's such an allure about that segment of swim baiting, but I really like them. Now, I've been, excuse me, I'm just waking up. Oh, wow. My pardons. Anyway, I've really been a fan of the smaller size glide baits for quite some time. I've been using them for a couple years, and I've got quite a few. I am a pretty decent fan of the S-Waver for being as fairly inexpensive as it is. I really wish they would make an S-Waver in a 300 millimeter size, to be honest, because the S pattern that it has is great, but I would really like a much larger size. And I've also been using the Savage Gear Shine Glides, and the non gizzard shad style one, the longer one, or the thinner one, I should say. I've been using those for quite some time, and I've gotten good reaction on them. I really have. But I wanted to get into the more high end of the glide baits and bigger, to draw those super tanker size bass out. And so I went and I got a Dobbins 908 after I had already had a Daiwa Alexa 400 for almost a year sitting doing nothing, which I got because I couldn't ignore the price tag. So I've got this set up now, and you know, I've been tossing a couple of my smaller things on it to get used to using the rod, but I've noticed that those bigger gauge baits, because now I have one, I have a 262 Ti slide, they load that tip just enough, and with the weight of the bait, it's almost like when you're using a fly rod with the fly line, but it's with the lure, and it puts them out there big time. And ironically, it's actually fairly easy to be accurate with just a lob cast because of the size of the rod. So I have this real fascination and this almost fanatic fervor for using glide baits, and the bigger ones, just the way they move in the water is almost surreal. So I made a group for it, AZ Glidebaiters, and I'm inviting people to come and check it out. So if you are somebody that loves glide baits, even if you use the other baits, and you've been looking for a forum, or you're interested in a forum where you can talk just glide baits, then I invite you. I don't care if you're half a mile inside the borderline of Arizona. If you're an Arizona glide baiter and you're interested, join the group. We can share information and do whatever we want. I'm not going to have any restrictions. The only thing that I really have, two things I don't want to have happen. I don't want profanity over a certain level. We all swear a little bit. We're not perfect. I sound like a drunken sailor's slut wife sometimes. So I'm not going to really blast people too much for an occasional F-bomb here and there, but, enthusiasm has inflections sometimes. And infighting. I really don't want any arguing on this group. I would really prefer for it to be civil. I know people have their own ideas of what this or that should be, and I get it. I know that there's differences of opinion, but it doesn't mean that we can't discuss things in a civil manner. So, I've seen in other fishing groups on Facebook that there's just been some really stupid amounts of arguing. People have left pages, and point of fact, that's kind of the reason I left Arizona Anglers group. And there's a video I made on that. So, there's no need for it on my group, please. So, try to control the swearing. I understand if shit slips. And just don't argue. I mean, let your opinion be known if you want to, and if somebody has a different opinion, let them have it. I mean, it's pretty simple. So, it's a good spirit in which I've made this group. These baits are almost a cult, and perhaps this is the new Church of Glidebait, quote unquote. So, have fun. The link will be in my description.